Let's talk about Russia. The more we learn about Russian involvement in the 2016 presidential election, it's becoming clearer and clearer that the United States and Donald Trump have fallen victims, I don't think is too far to go, to a sort of new Cold War tactic that is going on. U.S. intelligence agencies now say that they have, quote, high confidence that Russia acted late in the 2016 presidential election, specifically to hurt Hillary Clinton and to help Donald Trump become the president-elect. Russians hacked the Republican National Committee's computer systems. In addition to the Democratic organizations, they didn't release what they got from RNC computers, and the CIA has now concluded in what was a secret assessment that, yes, Russia intervened in this election to help Donald Trump win the presidency. Originally, there was this idea, Pat, that, okay, Russia hacking, what they're trying to do is just undermine confidence in the electoral system of the United States. It now appears, and by the way, James Comey was briefed on this in September and chose to say nothing about it during that press conference about Hillary Clinton's emails. It now appears that it wasn't just Russian involvement to undermine the American electoral system. It was Russian involvement to help a particular candidate become the next president of the United States. Of course, Trump says we shouldn't trust any of it, citing faulty Iraq war intelligence, saying, I don't believe they interfered, basically saying you can't trust the CIA and other American intelligence agencies that he will be soon leading as president of the United States. This is a very different story, and this has massive implications.
Yeah, and the reasons why Russia would want to install Trump as the president are pretty clear, because he said that he would look into labeling Crimea as part of Russia.
Yeah.
He's voiced disdain for NATO and a whole host of other things, attacking the media among them.
Not to mention his presumed choice for Secretary of State, which we will get to a little bit later. A foreign power, one that in 2012 Mitt Romney called our greatest geopolitical foe, has acted to affect the results of an internal election in the United States. This cannot become partisan. Russia interfering in American elections should not be a Republican versus Democratic issue, but it already is. Number one, according to several officials, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made it clear to the administration, the Obama administration, that he would consider any effort by the White House to challenge the Russians publicly an act of partisan politics. No, wait. Saying we are going to investigate how and whether a foreign power might have manipulated our election is now being called partisan by Republican Mitch McConnell, who, by the way, has a wife that is going to be part of the Donald Trump administration. Let me remind you that according to these revelations, congressional leaders were briefed in September. Mitch McConnell made sure that nobody would hear about the reality that we knew Russia was acting to help Donald Trump until after Election Day. Now we know Russia was involved. And by the way, FBI Director James Comey also knew of Russian aid to the Trump campaign in September. And somehow, Pat, James Comey forgot or neglected to mention that Russia was helping Trump when giving that ridiculous press conference about Hillary Clinton and her emails. This is a new Cold War tactic, and it is shameful.
Yeah, there are plenty of things that could have shifted the election the other way, and I think this is out at the forefront of what could have changed it.
I remember being on the treadmill at my gym, and I was watching CNN, and Congressman Michael McCall inadvertently said, hey, you know what? Russia also hacked the RNC. And Wolf Blitzer said, are you saying, Congressman, that Russia also hacked the RNC? Is that what you're saying? Why hasn't that been announced? And McCall saying, I don't know why, I don't know. And I found it incredible because he was the only person saying this. Within hours of that interview, the RNC and McCall said, oh, whoa. No, I misspoke, actually. We don't have any evidence of that. We now know that they did have evidence of that, and it was deliberately covered up. There's a growing rift between Donald Trump and many in the Republican Party over this. A quote from Michael Hayden, NSA director and CIA director under George W. Bush, to have the president-elect of the United States simply reject the fact-based narrative that the intelligence community puts together because it conflicts with his a priori assumptions. Wow. Congressman Peter King, Republican of New York, saying there's little doubt that the Russian government was involved in these hacks. One of Trump's most enthusiastic supporters, Congressman Devin Nunes, saying that there is no doubt whatsoever about Russia's culpability here. And of course, Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham, I guess we could call them the occasional voices of reason of the Republican Party, also saying that every American should be alarmed by this and it needs to be looked into. This is all part of the most glaringly illegitimate election we've had in the United States for a very, very long time. The sketchiest of circumstances with Russian involvement. Trump voters, many having been bamboozled into thinking that this is all going to be great for them. How on earth are people not more bothered by Russian interference? And by the way, Trump and his cronies like Kellyanne Conway saying, we really just can't believe what our own intelligence agencies tell us. Here's Kellyanne Conway being interviewed about this over the weekend.
And then when he was asked about this question, which is coming from the intelligence community, he said it was not a talk. He said it was a laughing point. In other words, the notion that the Russians were involved in the election was laughable. And so I'm just wondering how he can both respect the intelligence community and then think something they're telling him is laughable. That seems to be a disconnect.
Yeah.
It's completely compatible.
Oh, okay.
He absolutely respects the intelligence community. He's made very clear he's going to put his own people in there as well. What he has said is laughable and ridiculous is this entire notion, which people are just using as a foregone conclusion, that somehow this was meant to defeat Hillary Clinton and elevate him to the presidency.
Just unbelievable. Think about the undertone. Trump and his surrogates are crafting the narrative that we simply cannot trust big picture the CIA and other intelligence agencies. Now, he'll talk about Iraq, and it's true that we were completely misled on Iraq, but it was the Bush administration itself that was the catalyst for using this information and to making Colin Powell make the case with information we knew to be sketchy. Don't be tricked by Donald Trump and his associates about that. Getting gifts that people like during the holiday season is important, but doing it without having to go to a mall or stand in a line or deal with crowds makes it even better. And to be perfectly honest, that's a pretty high priority for me, which is why it's a really great idea to, instead of going to the mall, you go to the Omaha Steaks website. They offer unique gifts for gourmet food lovers. It's not just steaks, it's also seafood and poultry and veggies and desserts and appetizers, the entire thing. There's actually over 500 gourmet gift ideas at omahasteaks.com. And so importantly, it's convenient and fast shopping for whoever is on your list this year. Online recipes, wine pairings, much, much more. And right now, Omaha Steaks is giving exclusive savings to David Pakman Show listeners and viewers. Listen to everything you get for under $50. 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 burgers, a 12-ounce package of all beef meatballs, potatoes, a gratin, 4 caramel apple tartlets, and much, much more. It's a very long list, all for under $50. You can go to omahasteaks.com, but then here's the key thing. You put in my code, Pakman, Pakman, in the search bar, add the family gift pack to your cart, and you'll get a 77% savings, and you avoid the lines at the mall. omahasteaks.com, code is Pakman in the search bar.